Greetings, people of Earth. Welcome back. My name is Jax, and in case you missed it, I'm awkward. Like, I am exceptionally awkward in social settings and all kinds of things like that. I think it gets hidden pretty well on social media because I get to kind of cut up videos and chop them. And when I do a TikTok or a reel or something like that, I'm thinking about what I've said. I'm, cutting out the pauses. I do a lot of this stuff that makes it a little more seamless. And even though I'm creating seams, I guess, because I'm chopping up different things and I'm erasing stuff, but I still don't think that the awkwardness is hidden perfectly. I feel like I'm still awkward in many ways, and it's not a problem for me. It's never been a problem for me. I think awkwardness it's like a sense, some people can sense awkwardness better than others. And I grew up with a really bad sense of awkwardness. I'm on the autism spectrum, so I think that's like pretty normal. And even when I hang out with other people on the spectrum, uh, you know, we don't have awkwardness. It's not a thing. It's not a thing that I pick up on very much. I have to be told about it a lot of the time. Like, Jax, that was so awkward. Like, why did you just stand there and not say anything? And I was like, well, it wasn't my turn to speak. Like, what do you mean? I'm not just gonna fill a void because I'm supposed to fill a void. So yeah, I think I think like it's just one of those things that kind of makes me laugh because usually I'll be with some other people and I will have said something really stupid to a waitress or a bartender or whoever, and then my friends will all look at me and be like, "Why did you say that? Oh my gosh, that's so awkward." I'm like, "What do you mean? Like what? I'm sorry." So awkwardness is this thing that kind of like floats above my head somehow, and I can't see it, but everyone else can, and everyone else picks up on it really well, and they're really quick to tell me, "Jax, that was super awkward." But I embrace it. I absolutely don't care. I feel like I'm developing a sense of it. Like I can kind of sense when somebody is feeling awkward, but I don't think I feel the awkwardness. Like I can pick up on it and be like, "Oh, is this an awkward situation?" Maybe like I don't feel awkward, but they might feel awkward, and that's their problem, not mine. Um, and maybe that's one of the reasons why social media is such a fun thing for me, and I never have a regret about a video I've made. I've never looked at a video I've done and been like, "Oh, that's super awkward." But I've had my friends point out videos I've done and gone like, "I cannot believe like you are fearless." Like I would feel so awkward and weird about posting that or doing that. And I don't have that. And maybe that's one of the keys to being on social media and doing it well is that you just don't care about those kinds of things. I think all of us have videos we look back on and go like, "Man, I wish I did my hair differently," or "I wish I said it in this different way." But I don't have that same level of like awkward internalized like insecurity that especially like my friends and family have. They sometimes look at me like I'm absolutely insane, and maybe I am, but it's one of those things where you can either let it be your anchor or you can just not care. And maybe part of it has to do with like the philosophy that I believe in and my spirituality, because my worldview is that we have no control over the universe or what is happening in the world, and we don't have like a physical ability to fundamentally change what is going on. We can make good choices. We can, put people in power who are going to do the right thing. We can, we can impact meaningful change, but nothing really changes. Humans will still be humans in 200 years if we're still here. And the idea that I need to somehow walk on eggshells or behave in a specific way so that other people don't feel awkward, I'm sorry, but that's a you problem. That's not a me problem. And I know that sounds a little self-centered, but why would I fundamentally change the way I behave, how I act, what I'm interested and passionate about, just to make somebody feel less awkward? Because again, that's a you problem. It's not a me problem. If you are going to feel awkward when I bring up like a subject and I just talk about it forever, just tell me you want to talk about something different. I won't be offended, believe it or not. I'm happy to talk about lots of different things. If you want me to stop talking, I might even do that too. It depends on the subject and the context. But if you just want to sit in quiet, I'm good with that too. Some people get really awkward and weirded out by silence or just sitting in a room, like doing your own thing. Nope, not a problem. And maybe I get it a little bit from my mom because she's very much like that. But whatever, I don't care. So I don't. I don't really know the whole context of why I was making this video. I think it was because I had a quote unquote awkward situation at the gym today, but I didn't find it awkward. I think they found it awkward, but I was just like, whatever, and walked away feeling just as good as whatever can be. And you can kind of look at the whole idea of being awkward as like a social restraint, like a handcuff or something, because the idea is that if you make somebody feel awkward about their behavior, you're going to like modulate their behavior. You're going to sort of alter it, and people will try really hard to not be awkward. And I feel like teenagers are really, they're like absolute slaves to being awkward, because you can't be awkward in your friend group. You just have to be, you gotta follow the current and peer pressure and all of those kinds of things. And I don't know, maybe that stays with people more in high school and as they mature, and some people just are kind of immune to it. And I don't know. I think awkwardness is only in the eye of the beholder. It's the person you see. It's not necessarily a universal thing that is picked up on. I bet you anything that different cultures around the world have different standards or levels of awkwardness. That would actually be really interesting to look at through like an anthropological lens, like the idea of being awkward, the being uncomfortable, or the situations in which people find themselves in that, oh, that was uncomfy. I don't like how that felt. Because it's one of those things that's very culturally specific. You say something stupid, or you refer to somebody's ex as their new girlfriend, like that you meet a friend and they're with their new girlfriend and you call her by the former girlfriend's name, and then everyone looks at you like, oh gosh, like, where it's just like a slip of the tongue. You got into the habit of, this person's partner is called Rebecca or whatever. And so then you call the new one Rebecca, and then suddenly, oh boy, that's awkward. But I tend to just like laugh. I tend to find the humor in it all, because again, the world's ridiculous. None of us are going to be here for long. We're all just travelers and visitors. And so it doesn't matter. It's like, chill, bro. It's fine. Like, sorry I called her Rebecca when her name's Tiffany, but oops. So that's my 2 cents on being awkward and that whole concept. Because really, if you don't subscribe to the idea of being awkward, you're never gonna be awkward. And if somebody wants to interpret it as awkwardness, that's their own insecurities and their own level of uncomfortability. So if you don't want to be a people pleaser, just power through it. It doesn't really matter. Nobody remembers these awkward situations. And if they do, they remember them as these really funny anecdotes. It's like, oh yeah, remember when Jax called my last girlfriend by the former girlfriend's name? That was awful. And we all laugh about it and it's all fun. And so it's like, you have no negative benefit. You have no negative repercussion for being awkward, because it very, very quickly dissipates. I feel like the height of the awkwardness is in the moment when you're actually feeling it, or it's going through the whole system or whatever. And then immediately you just look back on it and you're like, oh, why? Like, that was ridiculous. Like, what happened? What went wrong? I need the black box to be able to look at, where this crash happened. So I don't know. Awkwardness doesn't actually exist. It's not real. But I think it's funny. So let me know what you think. Have you ever had like a horrible, awkward situation? I'm sure you have, but I'm sure you're able to laugh about it now. And hopefully it's not one of those ones that you look back on and you're like, oh, why did I do that? One of those things where you're going to bed at night and you're like, oh, you think of a conversation you had 12 years ago and you're just like, why did I say that? I hope it's not that. I hope it's a fun, awkward situation where you're just like, really? Was that the thing to say at a funeral? Was that Was that smart? Maybe not. Oh well, live your life, do what you want. Don't interfere with other people, but do what you want. And thank you so much for tolerating this awkward little diatribe, tangent, whatever you want to call it. Thank you so much for listening. I have such a problem with ending these sometimes. I enjoy the ramble and I enjoy like the thought process. And so then I'll like say goodbye like 4 or 5 times. Some people might interpret that as being awkward, but I just think, it's the ridiculous human being that I am. So sorry, not sorry. And I will really disappear this time. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I will talk to you tomorrow.